only consider 3/5 of a person. 3/5 of a person. And the reason for that is so that the South can gain more governmental representation, which the North was like, because you're going to get more, you're going to have this great big power. And so there was a fight amongst them. And so this is one of the reasons after voting, one of the reasons why we have to vote also to fill out the census as a full person, of which we all are. Voting is not, it's your right. It's your right to vote. For the reason I get into numerology and where I am and why I am where I am. So thank you very much for the prayer, the opening prayer. Reverend Graham, if that's something that I always do, obviously, as well. But also, I looked at Jacob's vision, the number behind, I want to say that Jordan, the time when that my birthday, my birthday. But I always do my birthday. But nevertheless, there's also this order 203, right? The order 203, which for the right, for the executive order that Cuomo put out. But funny enough, there's also 3 in the Voting Rights Act. I don't know if you all know about that, but that basically has to do with the language barrier that that other people who are different languages, they were kind of excluded from the voting process because there was a means by which they had to vote because they didn't understand the English language, and that was the only thing that they would provide. So, I can go on, and I don't want to ramble, but there's so many different reasons why we should vote. We have the freedom to vote. So I think Jacob has started this conversation now by saying you will have the freedom to vote.
Thank you so much. And the responsibility. Natalia, could you respond to that question? Tell us a little bit about yourself, as much as you'd like, and then what do you say to people perhaps who say I'm not voting because it's rigged or you don't really appreciate any of the candidates who are running? What are your thoughts on that?
My name is Natalia Garcia. I'm part of the Mixed Hispanic community, and for me it's important to vote because our vote counts. I forget her name. How to say our vote counts, and it's important, just it involves our family, our friends, our country, and it's our right to vote. And I guess I want to say something in Spanish because I don't understand that. So say about the video, and I say okay. So en el video decía que es importante, que tenemos el derecho a votar, que es importante votar, porque esto contribuye a nuestro país, a nuestra familia, a nosotros mismos, a nuestros amigos. Es importante votar porque nuestro voto siempre cuenta, que nosotros como comunidad hispana y latina somos parte de este país, ayudamos con el crecimiento de este país. Por eso es muy importante que nosotros votemos y que estemos presentes para votar y para elegir una buena persona para que este país, que es parte de nuestras vidas, siga creciendo.
Thank you so much. Kathy, would you please respond?
Sure. I'm Kathy Meany, and I am the president of the League of Women Voters of Westchester County. And I was actually really moved and inspired really only a few years ago in the fact that I wanted to get involved in our community. And I reached out to the League and I became a volunteer immediately. And in just a couple of years' time, I've been recruited to take over the presidency. I'm sure some of you know how that works. But I'm so thrilled to be part of this organization. We are celebrating our 100th anniversary this year. The League was actually formed in Chicago back in 1920, and it was only 6 months before the ratification of the Ninth Amendment, where, women were actually finally granted the right to vote. And I have to say, we talk about our freedoms, we talk about the rights, And, I'm sure many of you know the history, but, women were beaten, women were jailed, to really fight for this right. And I think people forget that and take it for granted. And that's what I usually bring up. And as we know, it was still a challenge for Black women, it was a challenge for women of color, because to be quite frank, the race issue, the race challenge that we face really wasn't even resolved until 45 years later in 1965 with the Voter Right Act. So, I'm thankful now that, we can all come together in a diverse community and work together to really get the word out about the importance of voting. And when people say to me, well, my vote doesn't count, I'm only one little person, well, look what happened. Look what happened with some elections, and again, I want to remain partisan this evening, but it's been a real challenge the last few years seeing the divisiveness amongst our community. And, when we bring that up, when we talk about, all different candidates, not just presidential roles, but even our local roles, congressional roles, on New York State Assembly, New York State Senate, these candidates are all up for election here in our community. And we need to find out what they're going to do for us. Because as you know, there's so many issues. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is an issue. We've got healthcare, we've got programs, schools, salary, and the census. If we don't get the census completed either, there's no support there. If people are trying to prevent us from completing the census, how are we going to fund to really, run successful programs and build our schools and that type of thing? So we talk about empowerment. Jacob brought that word up as well, and that's what I talk about when people say to me, "Why should I vote?" Well, your voice is heard, and I just want to point out one small thing that we have faced a really challenging environment this year with the COVID-19 pandemic, and there has been a lot of election law reform here in New York State to ensure that voters' rights are not suppressed. And it's because of people like you, organizations like the League, NAACP, and so many others that have, really lobbied up in Albany with our governor and our legislature to make sure voters were not suppressed even during a pandemic. So don't ever tell me that voices are not heard, because our legislature here in the state and our governor did here, and there was a lot of election law reform this year to ensure that people can get out and vote. That's my contribution.
Thank you so much for that. We're going to talk about some of those laws and we're going to relax a little bit. Now, most of us know who two presidential candidates are, but how can people find more about the others who are running in this election in other offices? Valerie, maybe you can help us.
Sure, there's actually more people running for the presidency, actually. So we have several parties, right, as you know. So we just thought, so, for the Green Party, there's Howie Hawkins. For the Liberal Party, there's Joe Jorgensen. And for the Independent Party, there's Bob Pierce. For Congressional District 17, we have Josh Elson, Yehudis, Jennifer Mardia Jones, Michael Parietti, and Maureen McCarthy. And then we also have, there's 8, okay, there's different seats being elected. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that. Please inform yourself and others that if you pull the trigger for the president, you have to make sure that you're voting for the right person in these other elections. You have Westchester County Family Court Judge Ruth Ben and Lee Roca. You also have the Peekskill City Council unexpired, and that's Dwight Douglas. You also have New York State. I'm really speaking for the local elections, right?
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, New York Senate District 40. You have Rob Astorino and Harper. New York Assembly District 95. You have Lawrence Chiuti as Sandra Bailiff. You also have New York State Supreme Court District 9, Richard Gerson, David Hassan, Alexandria D. Murphy, Robert D. Androvich, Mark C. Starkman, Sam D. Walker, and E. Warren Williams. So, I mean, there's a lot of people we have to research, but I want you to flip that page over because there's something you need to vote for on the back, and that's for the Peekskill City Library, which is the Field Library. So there's a memorandum there. It's ask a question and you answer yes or no. So these are the several seats that are available on election this year in our area. If you're not in this area, please go to vote411.org or go to our Board of Elections webpage. If you're looking for the information, you will find it. I say that all the time. If you're looking for the information you see, you'll find it. If you're not looking for it, you won't find it. So the information is out there.
Okay. So what board, is that correct? And you can find out specific information about each of these candidates so you can make an informed. Is that correct?
Okay. I think it's vote411.gov, right?
Yeah, vote411.org. And it is all completely populated, it's detailed. You can check your voter registration, you can check your voter status, and also look at your ballot. Just put in your address, and your ballot comes up populated. And Valerie, I do want to make the point. I'm so happy you had the list with the names, because I didn't have that with me tonight, so thank you. But I do want to make mention with the Westchester District Attorney race that Bruce Bendish's name will be on the ballot, but he has dropped out of the race. It'll be me, Roka. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody else have anything to say about that, to add? Any questions or comments? Okay. I understand that absentee ballot restrictions have been relaxed this year, allowing anyone concerned about catching or spreading the virus to vote remotely. Also, this is the first presidential election in which voters can get to the polls ahead of election day. The early voting window will run until October 24th from October 24th through November the 1st. And you can also resign by mail or in person. So what do people need to have prepared in order to register online? Somebody help us with that. What do you need to have? Kathy?
Okay. At this stage, because we're voter registration, or we're talking absentee?
Registration online.
The voter registration actually closes October 9th. So we are not encouraging to go through the online process any longer. The online process actually goes to the Department of Motor Vehicles. And because I speak to the Board of Elections almost weekly now, so we have up-to-date information, and they're saying do not use the DMV anymore. So you actually have to go get yourself registered, go to the BOE, get the form, download the form from online, and then mail that in. It has to be postmarked by October 9th if you mail it in. But we from the police are telling everybody to do everything early. You can download the form or you can get a hard copy form at the Board of Elections in White Plains. But if I were anybody at this stage, what are we, October 3rd? It's only 2 days. I'd be down at the Board of Elections on Monday or Tuesday next week and submitting my own registration.
Okay. What do you need to take with you if you're going through that? Sometimes we get there and we leave information at home. What do we need to have?
Good question. Yes, please just take some form of ID. You have a New York driver's license, you have a permit, driver's permit, or also the state ID. So if you don't have any of that, you can still register to vote. And it'll be processed, but when you go to vote for the first time, you will then be asked to show an ID. That is the only time in New York State that we are asked to show an ID. If we did not furnish one when first registered. So if you take your ID with
Thank you so much. And this probably does not need to be said, but I'm going to say election day is November the 3rd, and the polls are open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Hopefully that's enough time. If you choose to stand in line to vote, make sure you have the right day and the right time. A lot of people are being encouraged to vote before election day, but if they don't do that, how are we assured that we are going to? Anybody know about the procedures that take place to ensure that we get it done?
What was that last thing?
How can we people who decide they want to vote in person that it's safe?
Well, I can tell you what the Board of Elections has shared with us, and there will actually be, as you mentioned, early voting from October 24th to November 1st. 17 locations throughout the county, and we can go to any location. All of these are going to be consistently sanitized. Everybody will be wearing masks. If a voter shows up without a mask, they will be given a mask to wear. Everybody will also be socially distancing apart. It'll be the same thing on election day on November 3rd. There will be 307 venues open. It may be different, but different location from where you've gone in the past, but everybody will be assigned to a location. So that's a little bit different than early voting, where you can go anywhere in the county. But on election day, November 3rd, you must go to your assigned location. And we have been assured that 10 small voting booths, the voting machine where you submit your ballot, everything is being sanitized between voters. That election inspectors will be well prepared with video sanitizers, etc., and following all the rules.
Thank you so much. Natalia, could you interpret that for us in Spanish, please? Some of that. That's important information.
Okay. Ella dice que en las elecciones tempranas, you say the early election 17, you say for the early election, gonna be 17, right? Okay. Para las elecciones tempranas van a haber 17 puestos de votación en los cuales pueden ir las personas sin importar que están registrados ahí. Va a estar todo limpio, va a estar todo desinfectado, siempre se va a usar máscara. En el evento de que alguna persona vaya sin máscara, se le va a proveer una máscara. Y después para las votaciones de noviembre deben ir al puesto de votación porque está inscrito. Van a haber más puestos de votación, pero siempre va a estar con las mismas regulaciones. Todo va a estar limpio, todo va a estar desinfectado y siempre usando máscara.
Thank you so much. Okay, now there is also some talk about intimidation taking place at some of the polls. What should people do if they feel intimidated or threatened? Sarah. Can you guys?
Sorry about that. What we usually do, and we're revising our plan in terms of the NAACP, is we make sure we have poll watchers. And so those poll watchers look to make sure that there's no kind of voter suppression in any way, and that people are being treated fairly and everything is going as planned. There should be no interaction with anybody. We don't want anybody to be unsafe. We want everyone to be safe. But they should report anything, any kind of coercion, any kind of bullying, and all that stuff. I don't know the official thing to do. This is coming from Valerie. But I also did one that you should have gotten most people in this area, not everyone, voting. You should have gotten a card that showed where your early voting time are. So from October 25th through November 1st, there's a time slot in which you can early vote. So starting October 25th my.gov/voting. All of these things will tell you exactly how you can vote early. But in terms of intimidation early and voter suppression, one thing I do want to mention is coming from my mother who is actually from, she and a few of her friends, and I will say that they are seniors, got after it was a military absentee ballot. So you guys have to make sure you're reading the absentee ballot you're receiving because they actually not be the ones you're supposed to be in, and thereby it will be thrown out. It will not be counted. So please be very careful. We want to make sure that most people get out to vote, even with the early voting in terms of being safe. Spread it out. Tell your friends, listen, let's go on this day. There's several days that you do early voting. You'll find going on November 3rd, but we do encourage everyone to be as safe as you can. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. There's really no talking that's necessary other than telling the person what your name is. Told the poll workers what your name is and where you live. So other than that, it's not need to speak to anyone where you need to get your mask off. So please.
Thank you. Natalia or Kathy, anything you want to add there?
No, we usually from the league, we also have poll observers. We did that during the primary as well, which is reasons, like your organization too, Valerie. We want to watch, we want to see what's going on so we can provide input. And we did that with the primary, we'll be doing the same thing here. But I think that raises a great question, though, regarding intimidation. Hopefully we do not face that. But I made an invitation to actually on my weekly call for the Board of Elections to inquire. Valerie, you shared very common sense measures, and I want to thank you for that. But I think I'd also like to reach out to the Board of Elections and see, what they should have her do as poll watchers, poll observers.
Natalia, any comments?
Acerca de las votaciones que no van a ser presenciales, dice Valerie que por favor revisar siempre la boleta de votación que se recibe para estar seguro que sea la correcta, por si es una como militar o una boleta que no corresponde, no va a ser válida. Y van a ver las votaciones desde octubre 24 hasta noviembre 3, entonces hay varios días que ir a votar para estar más seguros, tratar de hacer grupos de amigos e ir en alguno de esos días a votar, siempre usando la máscara y pues a las personas que suelen hablar estrictamente lo necesario no tienen necesidad de hablar mucho con las personas para no quitarse la máscara, siempre permanecer con la máscara puesta para así evitar la propagación del virus y estar todos a salvo.
Thank you. How can people be assured that their absentee ballot is secure? There's been a lot of confusion about voter fraud. Any thoughts? Kathy?
Yeah. A lot of information has been circulated regarding absentee ballots. And there are a couple of things obviously need to be mailed in and postmarked by November 3rd. However, if you have any reservation about our postal system, you also have the opportunity to drop off your absentee ballot at any of the 17 early voting centers, any of the 307 polling locations on November 3rd. So you have an option even with your absentee ballot. You can mail it in, but it must be postmarked by November 3rd. However, Board of Elections will accept it. It needs to be delivered by November 10th. So that's 1 week. So again, if any reservation, you can drop it off. There will be secure drop boxes at every single polling location during early voting, which, as Valerie shared, they're designated hours, so it's operational hours. You can drop your absentee ballot off there. And if there is a line for early voting, you simply walk up to the front door
that'll probably be put by the door and say, I have an absentee ballot that I want to submit. And then you will go ahead and do that. You'll walk in and put your ballot in the secure drop box that is there. Those drop boxes are collected every single night during the early voting at the 17 locations, and then of course on election day, they get turned back in. But during early voting, they get picked every night, returned back to the Board of Elections. The drop box is empty, just physical mail, and then the empty is the next day, brand new. So, you do have opportunity to avoid, if anybody tells you there are drop boxes at the library or, a town center or village hall, that is not true. It is only at the early voting centers and on election day. And it's a good way to stick the line if you want to run your absentee ballot in. If you have a dear friend or a family member that you trust and you want them to submit it for you, you can do that, right? You cannot collect bulk. You can't have a bag full of absentee ballots to deposit and taking them to. The number is up 5. Okay, could you interpret that, please? That was a lot, I'm sorry. What did you ask? What's pretty important?
Para las ausencias, las votaciones que van a ser ausentes se reciben por el correo postal y se pueden enviar por el correo postal una vez diligenciadas, pero también se pueden depositar en los 17 puntos que van a haber en las elecciones tempranas o el día de la votación. Se puede llevar y se puede dejar allá. Todos los días va a haber una caja segura donde se pueden depositar los boletos de votación, y esta caja va a ser recogida todas las noches y al otro día van a llegar con una caja completamente desocupada. Es decir, que todos los días hacen la colecta de estos boletos, y si usted cree en un familiar o en un amigo que pueda colectar su boleto y llevarlo a los puestos de votación, lo puede hacer, pero no puede recoger muchos, sino hasta 5 para llevarlo y depositarlos allí. Esas son las formas de votar con boletos ausentes, no yendo a hacer las filas.
Thank you so much. I understand that we should not take for granted we'll be able to vote at the same voting places that we've always voted. Because of the pandemic, some of the nursing homes have been closed or changed, and so people need to make sure of their voting location. And Homes now has a demonstration on how we can make sure that we are voting at the right. You got to unmute.
Okay, here we go. How's everybody doing today? Well, first, it is definitely, we need to know that we are registered. We don't want to go to a polling place and can't vote. Google vote.org. Go to everything you need to vote. Click on that. Then we have these tabs. Check your registration, register to vote, vote by mail, get election list, pledge to register polling place locator, and also become a poll worker. So check your registration, click on fill out this form, takes about a few seconds, check your registration, and it'll come up, you register, or it won't find you. Then what you do, you register or not, go back. To have it registered, then go right here, register to vote. Take a couple of minutes, fill this information out, and you'll be okay. And if you need to know where you're supposed to vote at, you just scroll down, polling place locator. Click on that. city, which is New York. Fill this little information out, research. It'll come up and tell you exactly where you can vote. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Holmes. We want to entertain a few questions from those who are listening. Holmes, has anyone placed any questions in the chat box?
Any two management waving his hand a few minutes ago.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Any two management? Serious questions? So, anybody? Yes, Sally.
Can you please write down the website of
Okay.
I asked you a question here. So, if I understand correctly from the chat, the person with a complete absentee ballot, they go to the head of the line and ask the inspector for the box in which to make the deposit. We have heard that absentee ballots are counted after ballots cast on election day, and only if the margin requires additional votes to be counted. Does this apply to early voting, all absentee ballots, or only those cast before voting day?
All absentee ballots, even though they're being collected from early voting time period, will not be counted until after the polls close, and it'll probably even be starting the next day, I would think, here in Westchester. So it'll probably be on Wednesday, November 4th, that they start opening up the ballots. In the primary season, normally we have, during usual times, we usually have about 15% of ballots are absentee. It was 55% in June for our primary, and the Board of Elections is prepared for that now for our election. So I also want to tell everybody, please do not expect any results the night of. Some people, myself included, I stay up till 1, 2 in the morning waiting to hear who's going to do an election, and you're not going to hear that because you can go to bed. It may take a few days, it could take even almost a week before we get full results, because all states and here in New York and Westchester County Board of Elections is getting ready for a huge number of absentee ballots, whether they're mailed in or dropped off locations.
Okay. Another question. I am disabled and I don't have transportation. Can I call your organization to get assistance to my polling place? What is your contact information to know? Any help for the disabled?
I could certainly check on that to see if Board of Elections, I know there was some talk about engaging some type of transportation for those disabled, but I'd rather give you correct information. So I'm going to put in the chat our contact information and just email me as a reminder, and I will ask the Board of Elections when I call on Monday.
Thank you for that.
And Pastor, I have someone that has wrote a question.
Okay.
Clarification is reading. So if I understand correctly from Kathy,
Yes, brother. Sorry, I jumped the gun.
I didn't even hear you.
I appreciate it. Okay, here's another one. What is the truth about voting for those who have been incarcerated in the state of New York? Are people who have been previously incarcerated able to vote in this election?
Yes, and I'm going to get my notes, but
Okay.
if you want to go on, I have some information on that as well.
Oh, good. You take it, Valerie.
I'm going to read this.
Good.
Where I'm reading it from, but there is a restoration of voting rights for felons. This has become a practice in the United States to make felons ineligible to vote, in some cases permanently. Over the last few decades, the general trend has been towards reinstating the right to vote at some point, although this is a state-by-state policy choice. So, just so you know, restoration of voting rights after felony conviction
is lost until completion of census, and that means probation and or probation, parole and or probation, is automatically restored after that in the state of New York. So even if you were a felon, you served your sentence, you've done your probation in the state of New York, and okay, so that's been a fallacy or something that people do not know for a very long time. Felon, if you were a felon, you are completed with your probation, you can vote in the state of New York.
Thank you so much. Natalia, could you please interpret that?
Para las personas que tienen, que están como con casos judiciales, pueden votar una vez ya haya cumplido la probatoria, pueden votar en el estado de Nueva York.
Okay.
Sorry, and actually, in 2016, Governor Cuomo signed an executive order to restore the voting rights to New Yorkers that are on parole. There is an executive order. I'm actually going to put the executive order in the chat for people to read. But there was a restoration of that with rights to vote of our prophecy and the president of representative government. So, so it does discuss the amendment. So I will put that in the chat.
I see another question there. Do you want to read it home?
Okay, is there a fee associated with voting restoration?
That's a interesting question. Okay. No. No. The answer is no to that. Okay, Vic, are you still on the phone? I think I need to make a comment or ask a question or Kathy has her hand raised.
If I may, Pastor, because I want to build on what Valerie also shared when we just pull up a document here, because there was actually new voting election reform that's brand new that Cuomo just signed, and let me bring that up here. It says, not be in prison or on parole conviction. If on parole for a felony and you have received a conditional pardon, you can vote, but also don't forget you still need to register. So that's part of the new election law that's been reformed.
Very important to share that.
So Vic has to, Vic, can you unmute yourself?
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, hi. Yes, I have a couple of questions, if that's all right. Going back, this is a question for Valerie and Natalia. Going back to the pastor's question about individuals who are disabled or may not have transportation getting to a polling place. Does the NAACP and the Peekskill Hispanic Committee, do they provide services on Election Day to assist people in those positions?
So I'll answer first, I guess. The Peekskill NAACP has historically partnered with Trolley. I don't know if you guys know about the Trolley that we have in the past to actually transport people to the polls, including disabled individuals, and that was a very big help. We've also, just had our cars people to the polls. So we've always had that service available. It's going to be a little different this year. We don't know quite how we're going to manage to do it because we're very conscious of being safe from distance and that kind of thing. So we will have a plan out this coming week or so as to what we're going to do. That includes our Get Out the Vote efforts where we actually are calling voters in our area to make sure that they are getting out. If they can't get out, how can we assist to the polls? So as as it relates to handicapped individuals, again, that will require a different mode of transportation, which we have not yet solidified. So definitely give us an email. I'll put our email also in the chat, but it's still naacc@gmail.com. And if you're looking for us, you'll find us. We are also at naacc.org. That's our website. And we try to get as much up-to-date information on the website as possible. We are also on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter at NAACP. So again, if you're looking for us, you'll find us. We'll have all our information available in the short term.
Thank you. And Natalia, would you be able to answer that?
Yeah, that's like almost the same what Badger already said. We need to find out that, and I need to ask to Dinora because I don't have information about that because for everything about coronavirus has been changed for everything. So I don't have like a clear information right now. But so the same, maybe if we gonna do it, we're gonna post on our page.
Thank you. That a follow-up question to that that ties in. What precautions are being made? Are you aware? This is to the three of you, any of you. What precautions are being made to ensure that a polling place is safe during the COVID pandemic for those who want to vote in person? And who is responsible for that safety?
Anyone? Okay. I think we mentioned it before, Vic, but that's okay.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. Board of Elections has assured us that they have all the supplies, sanitizers, face masks. So if a voter shows up with no face mask, they'll be given one. Everybody will be 6 feet apart, so socially distant, but everything will be wiped down. So as soon as a voter votes, the pens are down, the little booths that we vote in are wiped down, any machinery that's touched, anything that's touched will be wiped down and sanitized. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey Jeff, did you speak on what you wrote in the chat?
That's why I put it there, just in case. I want to remind everybody if you plan two things actually, so to save me from doing something else. I want to remind everybody if you plan to use absentee ballot, actually three things. Regarding absentee ballots, you must apply for an absentee ballot first. Alright? Apply for it and do that now. Again, all the information is on the BOE website. Go to Westchester BOE and you'll find it there. You have to apply. Absentee ballots are not being sent to all registered voters like it was during the primary season. The other thing is, point two regarding absentee ballots, even if you are not ill and you do not want to go physically polling locations, you want to vote via absentee. The reason that you select on the form is temporary illness. So even if you're not ill, that's okay. Governor has approved this as part of election law reform that you can then use temporary illness and get your absentee ballot that way. Right? The third thing is, even if you get your absentee ballot and you decide not to use it and you want to go to a polling location, you can do that. There's no guarantee. Just trash your absentee ballot. You don't have to use it. The other thing is, absentee ballot, if you have completed it and you've already submitted it, you already voted, maybe you mailed it in, maybe you went to early voting, and something has happened now on November 2nd, if you want to change your mind, you still can go physically to that polling location that you're assigned to on November 3rd and vote there. It is not duplicate voting. That is the reason absentee ballots are not touched until the polls close, because the wonderful staff at the BOE will then, when they get your absentee ballot, they have to look at every single one of them and compare it to the votes.
either the electronic books or those hard copies where we have to put in our signature. So there is no redundancy, there is no double counting, but you have that right. You can still go to vote in person on November 3rd, whether you submitted an absentee ballot or not.
Thank you. That was very important information. And that is in the chat box. Some of that. But now, where can we go to get that information?
Everything is, if you just go to Google everything same, and just type in Westchester VOE, and they are very well detailed websites for stuff.
Thank you so much. Alessandra, do you have a question?
I was wondering if you know if people under the age of 18 can register to vote in New York, because I know that it depends on the state. So.
Good question.
Yes, actually you can. And I see 16 to 18, and I see on our call today is Lindsay Houlihan, who is the new lead of our brand new youth corps within the League of Westchester. And Linda's team, there she is. Good morning, Lindsay.
Hello.
And brand new. We only started this summer, but Lindsay has been busy with about 20 summer students. I know Vic mentioned earlier too, to really getting that message out. So yes, 16 to 18, but obviously you have to be 18 by November 3rd to be able to.
Excellent news. Okay. So how does someone get involved in your organization if they are interested and inspired by what they heard here tonight? Who can become a member of the League of Women Voters, and who can become a member of the UNC, and who can become a member of the Hispanic community? We'll take you in that order.
Okay. Well, from the League of Women Voters, anyone over the age of 16, all right? We have a lot of new members this year because of, our election season. Anyone, all right? The League of Women Voters is not for women only. Let's not like that, all right? We have a lot of gentlemen that work with the League. We have some high schoolers, some males that are working with the League. So please, anybody over the age of 16, and we welcome you and we want you. We have a lot of work, and I'm going to put you all to work.
Thank you. How about it, Valerie?
So, for the Peekskill NAACC, everyone can be a member. Our organization is totally volunteer. We totally run our organization off of the lifeline of our membership. We take our team, we have a youth committee, a dynamic youth committee, of which they can be involved and help us with distractions and help us getting on the road and lots of other community service activities. We have, as you all know, we have a health committee, civic engagement, education, environmental justice, economic empowerment. We have all these committees that tie into each other with voting also, because guess what? If you don't vote, a lot of those services diminish. If you don't fill out the census, a lot of our services diminish. I'm sorry, I'm like a big advocate for the census. So right now we are only at 62%. We're not even surpassing our 2010 5%, but we gotta get this out. So please feel free to go to our website, naacp.org, and once you go there, you'll be able to sign up for membership. Again, we run our organization completely off of our membership and donation.
Excellent, thank you. Natalia, tell us about the Hispanic committee.
Yeah, everyone, welcome to be a member of the Hispanic community. We just offer like information, community meeting, and we help the community with different things. Yeah. Todos están bienvenidos al grupo de Spirittalk Community. Debemos información para la comunidad y cualquier ayuda que la comunidad pueda
Thank you so much. Okay, last round of questions. Any last minute questions? Any last minute comments that anyone wants to make?
There's a couple of questions. The first one is, does the application need to be notarized?
No. The application only needs to be witnessed if somebody needs assistance in completing it. So if somebody has difficulty writing or reading and somebody's going to help fill out the form, that person needs to witness it. But no, there's no notarizing.
Thank you. Another one is, where could I get a print booklet in the League of Women Voters to share with my elder friends?
And that's another great question. A lot of the libraries have cut back on ordering the printed voter guide, but we did place the order this week. So throughout the Westchester Library system, there will be printed voter guides in the libraries, but not to the extent of the same volume we've had over the years. So especially for our elderly who still want that hard copy, they will be available. If you're tech savvy, then please go to vote411.org.
Thank you. We have one guest here tonight that doesn't have a question but wants to share their experiences with the absentee ballot voting.
Okay, I think that's any to answer.
Yes, it is. Take yourself off mute.
Yes, I just wanted to share my experience on absentee voting. This was the first time that I'd ever absentee voted, and it was quite easy. You go to the state of where you live, select. In my case, it was Virginia, Virginia.gov. Go there, check your registration, as Mr. Lindsay had previously told us. And then once you realize that you are a registered voter, you request an absentee ballot. I got my absentee ballot within about a week after I had filled out the request. And one of the things that you have to do, you have to have a witness. Now that can be, if you don't have a witness, you'll need having someone that close to witness that you opened your ballot and that you are ready to vote. You can also submit it without a witness. And then when you send it in, you mark it on the absentee ballot envelope that you send it in. You mark it on there if you were uncomfortable with a witness, so you didn't use one. Any of those things are acceptable, and please vote. It's easy to vote, no matter what your situation.
Thank you. Vic, did you have a comment?
No, not at this moment. Thank you. Well, actually, yes, I do. Before we conclude the evening, I would like to ask the three panelists if they have any final words, or if there are any questions we have not asked this evening that we should have asked that they would like to communicate. But that can happen before the end of the evening.
Well, we're right there. So this is the time where they can share any last words, comments, concerns that you'd like to leave us with. Kathy has her hand up.
Yes, again, I'll go back to the information that Valerie shared earlier with all the congressional, assembly, Senate races, that the League of Women Voters will be hosting virtual forums. We started to do that during the primary in June, but we will be running forums starting October 12th. Everything will soon be posted on our website, lwdw.org. I'll put that in the chat room. But AB 95, we have a virtual forum for that. CD 17, SD 37, SD 38, and SD 40. We're not running all 10 or 11 forums because some of our candidates are running uncontested and some have also declined to participate. So for those
candidates that want to participate and answer all of your questions. We will be opening up registration for these forums starting on Monday. The other thing I wanted to mention, I know somebody mentioned too about Francisco at the Peekskill Field Library. I will be running a very detailed workshop, again, virtual workshop, Prepare to Vote, the 3 ways to vote, and that is on October 7th at 6 p.m. And then my final bit is get out and vote. We are selling face masks, so if anybody is interested in a face mask, please, you've got our contact information. We're happy to get you one. Thank you so much. Valerie, any closing words? Well, I want to say thank you, Kathy. Thank you for that. We'll have to get somebody to do that. I just want to encourage everyone to please get out and vote. We also have some panel discussions. One vote of social media that I did not mention YouTube, and we did a panel discussion with those 17 candidates that answered our call. So if you want to learn more about Monday Jones, I think all the rest kind of dropped out now, but if you go to the YouTube channel, again, still in the ACP, you'll see that discussion. But again, I just encourage everyone, please just get out and vote. Whatever you get out and vote is very important. And I also want to say something that I read today also in preparation for this is that I don't know if you all know, but the Latino vote is so extremely important this year as well. It's predicted that there will be upwards of 32 million now eligible Latinos available to the vote in this election. So the Latino vote is very, very important. The Black vote is extremely important, and I believe all votes have always been important. But now more than ever, we all need to get out and exercise our freedom. Thank you so much, Lindsay. We want to give you an opportunity to say something if you like. Don't feel any pressure, but if you'd like to make a comment, we'd love to hear from you.
Oh, thank you. This is great. So glad that I get a chance to know this great information. Yeah, I just want to echo the same message. Voting is so important. Another really important eligible age group is youth code to 24 is super historically underrepresented, and it's super important that our age group gets out and votes as well. We also have a big new group that's eligible to vote, and that's going to be able to make a huge impact in that election this year as well. If anyone is interested in being a part of the League of Muslim Voters Youth Corps, I'll put my contact information in the chat as well. And yeah, thank you so much, and everyone go vote.
Thanks for joining us. Natalia, you have final words tonight.
Okay, thank you for letting me join this chat. And I want to say to the Latin community to invite the Latin community to vote. Como Valerie dice, hay más de 32 millones de latinos. Debemos participar en las votaciones. Es muy importante que nosotros los latinos nos acerquemos, nos sintamos parte de este país y hagamos parte de este país asistiendo a las votaciones. Es muy importante todas las comunidades, la comunidad negra, la comunidad blanca, la comunidad hispana, latina, todos acercarnos a votar porque realmente es muy beneficioso para nosotros, para nuestras familias, nuestros amigos, nuestro país.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Please remember that this session of Spirit Talk has been recorded, so you can watch it again and you can share it with others. Let me just echo what everyone else has said. Please, please, please plan your informed vote. Vote early, pack a lunch, bring a chair if you plan to vote on November 3rd. The lines are going to be very long everywhere, so do not be intimidated. If it's right, God. Thank you so much for being a part of Spirit Talk Connections. Do not forget to nurture yourself. You can join us for the next Spirit Talk again on Saturday, November 14th at 6, where we're going to try to promote unity in the community and the nation in the election. A very special thank you to our panelists, to the Spirit Talk team, and to all of you who are listening and joining us. And thank you, Vic, for organizing this panel of experts. And it was very important to have our young leaders participating tonight. Thank you all. One voice, one vote, one victory, equality, and justice for all. Good night, and God bless you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.